Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today we're going to be taking a little break from the Final Fantasy XIV videos for the simple reason that I haven't really been playing much 14 this week, but I've been playing one hell of a lot of the game that you're seeing in the background, which is Genshin Impact. Now, this game came out on Tuesday morning, 4 AM, and yes, of course, 4 AM is when I woke up that day to go and play this game. And since then, I haven't really been able to put it down because it's been pretty addicting, to say the least. When I first played the game about 2 weeks ago in the Chinese open beta, I did have good first impressions of it, but I wasn't really quite sure if I would really invest a lot of time into the game. Yeah, there was a single player story to be found, there was some open world adventuring to be had as well. And then of course there was the gacha aspect to the game, which I wasn't so sure about because I don't want to be spending one hell of a lot of money to get all of the characters that I would want. But of course the game came out, I tried it out, and I haven't been able to put it down ever since, because a game like this is something that I really enjoy because of what it offers. And I'm gonna make a really weird comparison here to Ori, both Blind Forest as well as Will of the Wisps, as well as Hollow Knight. Those are two games that I really enjoyed as well, or well, technically 3 games, because Ori has 2 games now. But it's a game genre that I can quite easily lose myself in, and Genshin Impact also does that very well. You have this storyline that you can follow, but it's also still an open world game with plenty of side content to do as well, that you can do whenever you please. If you want to go to a quest and just beeline the storyline, you can do so, but even so in Genshin that doesn't really work, because your main story progression is going to be locked behind what is essentially an account level, and you will need to level up your account in order to be able to progress through the main story. And of course, all of this different side content gives you account levels or experience towards that account level, so even if you don't necessarily have to do it immediately, and you can do it when you're stuck and you're like lower level than what you're supposed to be. Whenever I came across these different side activities to do, whether it was to go find the collectible, whether I came across some ruins that looked a little bit shady, then I'm like, there could be a puzzle here hidden that maybe would lead to some loot. And then of course, once you acquire that loot, once you've solved the puzzle, you would get some account rank as well. And it's also just been a lot of fun. I like losing myself in these kinds of games, and it's very easy for me to do so as well, because I'm someone that gets distracted really easily. I'd be running towards my main quest on 1 minute, and then I come across a hilly troll camp that is protecting a chest, and when you kill them you can open the chest. I'm like, okay, let's go do that. And then on my way to that camp I notice there's this little wind sprite flying around, and then you can chase them around to go to their destination, where you can again get some loot. And then maybe on your way there you run across an NPC that has a side quest for you, and then maybe you start off this really large side quest chain that is really interesting as well. And then all of a sudden you're 3 hours later and you're thinking to yourself, what was I doing again? So it's something that I do quite enjoy with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Hollow Knight, those types of games. I have that as well. It's like, oh, I can go to the left here, but I see something shining on the map on the right, but I'm actually supposed to go forward or something like that. And it's really nice that you have all of this freedom. For example, what I've been spending the last few days doing is going around finding all of the different collectibles to make it so that exploration becomes easier, so that I wouldn't really have to worry about for example, having to go find them later on, and then also have exploration benefits from them, like for example having more stamina so I can sprint longer, something that I've been doing for the last few days. But then again, as I was trying to find all of these collectibles, all these geoculus as they are called in the second area, I came across a bunch of other places where I'm like, okay, this looks like there could be a puzzle around here, let me go see if I can figure this out. And then when you do that, it's pretty satisfying. Maybe the reward in the end might not always be worth it in terms of like the loot that you got for the time that you invested, but it's a little bit more of a enjoy the journey, not necessarily the destination, and that is something that I've been really enjoying. Now, the really cool thing about this game as well is that once you're done with the story, there is still an endgame to be had. Now, of course, I'm not done with the story yet. I'm getting very close to adventure rank 30, which is pretty much like where the story would end. I think I'm on the final quest right now that is available in the game so far, but we already know that there is going to be more content coming as well in the next patch, or at least if you were to believe the leaks. But so far, really been enjoying it. I'm not going to be doing like a formal review of the game just yet. I want to wait until I get some actual hands-on with the endgame as well to see how I'm feeling about that, because it does feel kind of like once you reach endgame that there's not going to be a crazy amount of content to do. But of course we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out when, for example, that new piece of content rolls around as well, because we also saw some possible changes that they might bring to some of the, like for example, endgame changes that are looking very promising. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how my rest of the time with the game is going to be. So far I've been enjoying a lot. I have been playing this game more, I've been enjoying this game more than most of the last like AAA $60 games that I've been playing over the last few months. And this game is completely free. Yes, it is technically very pay to win if you want to go and get all of the 5 stars in the game, because if you don't want to like put a lot of money in the game, you're just not going to be getting all of the crazy 5 stars, unless of course you are incredibly lucky, but I didn't really get that lucky. But still, I don't really mind all that much because the characters that I have feel good. They also gave you a bunch of free characters for just playing the story, or for example with the launch event and some other things. You got some decent characters and I've just been using those to pretty much get through the story, and then we'll see once I get to endgame whether or not I really feel like I need to spend a lot of money to get those characters like you have in some other gacha games. But so far, really enjoying it. Story started off a little bit weak, but is quite alright now. Definitely curious to see where the rest is going to be leading. Gameplay itself, I've been really enjoying as well. The combat system is really starting to get fleshed out as well, which was one of the things that I didn't enjoy all that much in the beta, but right now I'm actually quite enjoying it. And just building up my characters, making them stronger is definitely a pretty good feeling. So pretty much all I really wanted to say in today's video. I've just been really enjoying Genshin Impact. I think I've played for about like 40 hours maybe in the last few days. Which is definitely a whole lot more than I have spent on some other games in the last few months. So definitely really enjoying it. If you're looking to check it out, it's completely free to play. So you don't need to invest any money into it if you just want to like give it a go. Like for example, an hour or 2 is definitely not enough if you want to just check out this game, because it just has so many different things to offer. There's also a lot of different systems in place when it comes down to like how you are able to gear up your characters, or for example team synergy as well, something very important with the different elements and how they interact with each other. But I'll be talking about all of those things when I do make my formal review of the game. But so far I can definitely recommend people to give it a go and see if it is something for you. There are still a couple of things that I do definitely think are downsides, like for example the control scheme for my controller definitely doesn't feel all that good, and I can't change it either, so I would really hope that they would change that. And there's a couple of other things that I might not be enjoying as much, but so far those things definitely don't put me away from playing the game at all, and I'm definitely going to be enjoying it for the next few days until I am done with all of the quests, until I am finally at that end game, and then we'll see how quick the next update rolls around with the next region as well. They will introduce some more things to do in the game. But that's going to be it for me for today. I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my patrons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.